What's going on, guys? I haven't made a video in a while. I want to make a quick video, just pretty much going over what's been going on the past month or two in my business. Well, first off, I've been working on a job that's a new construction home, about 8,000 square foot house. Been trying to get all of it wrapped up, building roads for the guy, and just different things. I wanted to make a video. This video is basically, the purpose of it is things that, one of the biggest things you need in a business if you're going to actually be in business legit wise, period. I mean, like, if you're going to be in business, period, and have helpers or whatever. So back in September 1st of this year, this month, whatever, I had I got a phone call that said one of my employees had drowned. He was mowing around a pond at one of our commercial accounts and basically slid on the wet bank. Lawnmower turned straight down in the water. He actually mowed a path all the way into the pond, and he couldn't swim. We didn't know that, had no clue about it, and he drowned. So it's been a pretty difficult year so far. I mean, well, a pretty difficult closeout to the year, big time. So we, that day when that happened, it's like just time just stops, because these people, like, they feed me, they take care of me, they've been working for me for years. It's not like they just got hired like last month and something happened. I've grown to know these people. These people are my family. So basically, when I got the phone call, I went straight over there, and his body's there laying on the bank. They're waiting on the coroner and everything to get there and get everything situated. Investigators there and everything else. OSHA comes up, and then they basically want to just drill you. They're trying to find anything they can. I was not in a negligent, I wasn't negligent to them. I was doing everything I was supposed to do as a business owner. We mow a lot of places, and I know I've referenced it a lot in my other videos that I have a landscape company, and I don't talk about it a lot, but I may talk about it more coming up. It just, I don't know. It's been very hard. So this is something that I used to be a career fireman, and you give it all up to become self-employed. You quit chasing the dream. I've chased the dream being a firefighter my whole life. My dad's been in the fire service since the 80s, and I kind of followed right behind him. My uncle was in it. Well, both my uncles were. But basically, this video is to show you how quick things can change. Everything was going great. The mowing was going great. The clearing was going great. It's still going great. It's just, I'm a man down. So, it's not like he's your average man. He's a really good worker. But I have come to peace with it. It was the hardest on me was the first 2 weeks after it happened, and that was something I had to pretty much just come to peace with. It wasn't my fault. I wasn't in control of it. My guys did everything they could. This was at a 15 to 20 acre property, and they can see each other, but not all the time because they're working too. So I always tell them to park the truck where you can see the truck and see each other. Stay in sight of everything if you can. But there's so many buildings there, it's about impossible to do. So he ended up drowning, and it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do is call someone's family. Well, from a firefighter standpoint, you have to have a little bit of that cold side to you, where when it's people you don't know, it's hard enough. And you can tell people that, hey, your family members passed away, and it does affect you, but it doesn't affect you like it does when it's your people. And I'm glad that I had the insurance, and that's what this video is about. I don't care if you are a one-man show that gets help every now and then. It does not matter. There's no excuse for these guys running around that do not have insurance. And if I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. I mean, it is what it is, because I'm living. I have lived through it now, so I can say this. If you do not have the proper coverage, the proper insurance, you can find yourself jobless. I don't know about homeless, but you can find yourself very quickly. You can find yourself in a bad bind. I'm talking about Barney bad bind. Well, my insurance paid 100% for his funeral expenses. I have not touched base back with the adjusters or the claim people yet. I've given it some time to let it all work itself out. But I'm thinking that the coverage, there's other things there for his family, his wife, whatever. Some things that made it very hard, even harder than just his passing, was he had a grandson that just came home from the Marine Corps, and he was going to surprise him, whatever, and he never got to see him. His wife, he was a Hispanic guy. His wife just became a citizen, like after like 40 some years of trying, just moved here a few months back, and this happened to him. So these are really good people, family-oriented people that I would trust with my life before I would trust half of the white people I know or black people that I know. And it's just the truth. They're good, Hispanic, hardworking, loyal people. I hate to see any man lose his life over cutting grass or over anything. So that's the point of this video, is you make sure when you are starting your business, make sure you do it the right way the first time, because I have cheated death, I know, of 4 times this year where I could have died. And this really made me think, is this the career that I really want to do? I mean, I've got small children, I've got, a lot to live for. I got a beautiful wife. I got a lot of life left, ahead of me. So, but you got to sit down and think, you got to really weigh out, when you start your business, you need a good business plan. Insurance should be in the top category, and one of the first things that you ever think about is insurance. Don't worry about, should I get an LLC or S Corp or whatever, or sole proprietor, my taxes. I wouldn't worry about that first. I'd worry about getting that insurance. And as much as we all bitch about paying it, it paid off in this situation. And I can't bring a man's life back, but I can give all I can give to give comfort to his family, which obviously the funeral was about $9 grand, and my insurance covered it 100%. So I guess that's where I'm getting at, is make sure you have it, make sure it's correct, make sure that it's going to cover if Joe Blow, your workers' comp is going to cover if you've got accidental death insurance. Make sure you've got all that, because if you do not have it, then something happens, Lord forbid, something happens that we always say will not happen to us, or never think about happening to us. You will be covered, and you won't really be liable for anything unless it was neglect on your part. I train with these guys. So basically this guy they know their limits on these mowers. This guy had been riding the lawnmower for years, and he was really seasoned, veteran mowing guy. He mowed this place every single week for the past 4 years I know of, since I've had this particular account. I didn't know he couldn't swim. It's unfortunate that you gotta add swim lessons in. You don't think about this stuff. It's things you don't think about that will get you very quickly. And you know, it has bothered me to no end, and I've had to find peace with it, because the day it happened, I just wanted to say screw it all and blow up everything I had. You know, this was one of the worst incidents I have ever really truly felt. That's hit me very hard. But I do know that God's in control. He knows when we're going to be put here, and He also knows when we're going to go. So I hope and pray that his family continues to find comfort in everything that's happened, and that he, you know, his legacy lives on. His sons actually have a landscape company themselves, and his son said that he loved working for me so much that he didn't want to go to work for them. And they have a 70 account business. You know, they have a lot of accounts. So, you know, it's one of those things where that even hits me even harder, because that tells me he was really loyal to me. He was a good person, and he thought the world of me. And so, you know, all I can leave you with on this video is don't take things for granted. Don't think that it's not going to happen to you, because there's a good chance that something will happen when you least expect it. I was going into a rock quarry to get gravel when this happened, and I got the phone call from this city, and they basically told me, one of your employees, something bad has happened, you need to get there now. So I drove the dump truck right out of the rock quarry, went right where he was. So just think about it. Insurance. Do it right. Don't say it's not going to happen to you. If you can't afford insurance, you don't need a business. I'm just going to tell you that. If you can't afford to go and sit down with a agent and get them to write you up a policy, then you probably need to hold off being self-employed. I think that's a huge issue in every industry. The forestry clearing, land clearing, the mechanic industry, the landscape industry is tight. Paying insurance is expensive. It's not cheap at all. However, what would you rather do? Sacrifice a little over the whole course of your business, or sacrifice it all for one incident? So think about it. I hope you guys are doing good. I want to make some more videos coming up. It's just been very hectic, very busy. Got a lot going on in my personal life. So think about all this before you say it won't happen to me, because damn if it won't. And I used to be that same guy too. So anyways, by the way, I know there's probably going to be questions arise about the incident. So OSHA came in and did an investigation. They keep it open for 6 months. This not means they're over there with a protractor seeing how steep the hill was for 6 months, but they do keep the investigation open when there's a death for 6 months. You don't want to play with these people. You want to make sure that you have all this stuff legit, that you're legit. Because I say this because I know that the first question the man asked me when he walked up was, where's my owner's manual to the mower? Well, we have owner's manuals to the mowers, but we don't keep them on the mowers. Some mowers have them, well, most of them now have them built on the mowers, but we take it out and put it up in a filing cabinet. I mean, it's not, and if my guys want to go over them, if they're rusty on something or whatever, we'll go over whatever they want to do. Typically, I asked my lead guy, if there's anything you guys got questions of, questions for, if you got them, ask them. If I don't know them, I'll get an answer for them. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're uncomfortable with something, you let me know. We'll go after it. And then we do some periodic training. So you're only required through OSHA standards to train, I think it's once a year, which is nothing. But I mean, I am starting to implement, I'm going to actually implement a handbook that says, okay, we trained on FS90 weed eaters in 3 hours this month. That way I can log what we do, what we train on. That way if there's ever an incident, I can hand it over to them. This guy that investigated had no clue about mowers. He had never been supposedly on a zero-turn lawnmower. So that made it even worse for me because he didn't know what the hell he was doing. And he basically told me that he was rusty. This is something he never investigates. So that was not in my favor at all. So they wanted to know what the slope was. The slope was anywhere average between 10 and 22 degrees. The lawnmower was rated for, the mower itself was rated for 20 degrees. This guy was going around this pond. He mowed a 4-foot gap between the pond and him between him and the pond. There was a 4-foot stretch where they actually weed eat because it's too steep. Well, so he wasn't even like right on top of the pond. He was still 4 foot from the bank. I'm guilty. I've been up next to the water's edge before when I've mowed around stuff like that and never thought twice about it, but I do now. So basically he came out. He picks your employees one by one. He wants to ask them questions by themselves. Work-related questions. I guess like if I would have cussed that man out that morning before they went and mowed that pond, maybe I could be liable for something because of workplace, I guess, abuse or something. I don't know. Like, they dig into all this stuff that you don't think about. And, he basically, he drilled me pretty good. He wanted all my records of, my payroll, who's on my payroll, how many people do I have. They ask you all this stuff. How many mowers do you have? What kind are they? What's the make and models? Everything. They even took pictures of my truck. The whole 9 yards. So I have an attorney. I have two. I'm not liable for anything. But if I didn't have insurance, you could bet that I would be. And that's what I'm trying to stress here is, this stuff is serious. And it may be a simple lawnmower cutting a blade of grass. It may be simple. Or it may be a simple chainsaw cutting a tree or forestry mulch or clearing a forest. But you better be ready when something bad happens. He asked me, I wanted to know what the degree of the slope was because the lawnmower is rated for 20 degrees. Well, it was between 10 and 22 degrees around that pond. Now, where he put that protractor on that piece of wood, I have no clue because he done that before I got there that morning, the next day. So he wanted to meet with us the next morning. Even the ones that found the body the next morning. Because he claimed that you would forget what happened if it went longer. I thought the next morning was a bit much because these guys need to rest a day or two. He didn't care. So, these guys do not play at OSHA. You better have your stuff in line. You better have, I'm not saying everything's got to be perfect. Your tire on your trailer, that's a bad analogy, but I was going to say, if you're getting low tread on your trailer tire or your truck tire, replace them, but you ain't got to be paranoid. But it rocked my world, and I never thought it would happen to me. And, people probably be like, well, why aren't you upset? Well, I believe me, I've been very upset over it, but I've had to come to a peace with it because it's one of those things that was out of my control. And like I said, God knows when he puts you here and he knows when he takes you. So this very same thing, but a different incident could have happened to me. I know of at least 4 times this year that I cheated death. So, in other words, make sure you train with your people. Make sure they're seasoned with what the tools they're using. Make sure you have the proper insurance. If you can come up with a little Scooby-Doo handwritten book that's owner's manual type book that says, that just simple stuff, or not owner's manual, but a workplace SOG book, just a guideline book to your business, to give each employee and make them sign it. That has nothing to do with what happened, because what happened was basically a fluke accident. But all these things help you out when you get in this situation because they start asking for these things. OSHA does not play with, they want to know all this stuff. So I provided all the stuff necessary. I've got some pictures I still have to send to them of when they actually pulled the mower out of the pond. However, I didn't. I mean, I took the pictures because I figured, you know, if something come back on me, that I would have them. But I think I'm good to go. I'm not worried about anything. Like I said, my insurance paid 100% for all of his stuff. And I've still got to talk to the claim adjuster to make sure to see what else is there for their family. Because I want everything that can be paid to that family be paid to them. I want it all. I even had properties that raised money for them. We've raised over between $3,000 and $4,000 for this family. So I've tried my best to do everything I can for them on top of my insurance paying for it. I have a brother-in-law that had a car fall on a guy's head at his mechanic shop. We don't see eye to eye, so we really don't talk. But I did CPR on the guys that the car fell on because I'm still in the volunteer fire department. The call came out, and I thought maybe it was my brother-in-law or his stupid son. So I went down to help him out. Well, I got there, and there was another guy. They put a car up on a hill like this under jack stands, and the guy started pulling with wrenches and just pulled the car right over on top of him. Well, when that happened, it crushed the guy from his head across his body. We did CPR on the guy for probably a good 45 minutes, and the guy ended up living. Guess what they didn't have? They didn't have insurance. How they got by with it is beyond me. I don't know. But I would not want to be in their position, because that family could come back after them because of the negligence. If you show signs of negligence, they can come back and they can burn your rear end. So, in other words, do the proper things if you're going to be self-employed, because these guys get into business thinking they don't need it because it's just them. What if you are mulching and you throw a stick through a child in the yard, or you throw a stick through a person's window and it hits a grandma? You just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. And so you better be prepared. That's all I'm going to tell you. So I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you're making money. I hope your family's healthy. I know it's crazy times right now. We're all living in between the COVID, the election year. It's just been a pretty annoying year to me. It's been great personally, but it's like when everything, your personal life starts getting good, the world took a shit. So anyways, we'll talk to you guys soon. I'll make another video soon. Hopefully I can have something with some action in it as soon as I can. That way maybe it'll get a little bit more exciting on my channel. So you guys take care. We'll talk to you soon.